Okay, guys, we're gonna try something new. I've never stood back and done numbers over here. So we're gonna try this new way and see how it works. Hopefully you can see it pretty good and I don't spend the whole time cutting my head off. So today I wanted to go over costs. A lot of people know what they spend maybe in booth rent, know that they buy product every month, kind of keep receipts here or there for tax purposes, but do you really know what you're spending and what you're making, and have you broke it down? And to start out with, we have most people, there's 3 different ways you can get paid. So as a hairdresser, you can get paid hourly, okay? Now, hourly, you're pretty much capped in what you make, okay? You're capped because you can only make, whether you make $10 or $20 an hour, you really can never make more than that hourly wage if you work hourly in a salon and they pay you W-2, okay? So you probably don't have that many costs. You probably don't buy product. If you're hourly, the salon probably provides your product. Maybe you buy your own shears, things like that. But sometimes you can make commissions. And commissions, usually the standard industry is about 10% on sales. So on products that you sell, okay? Okay, so the next way we have is booth rent. Okay, now as a booth renter, the rent varies. Okay, it could be 100, it could be 500, depending on how high of a salon. Maybe you rent a suite, it's 1,000 a month. But maybe you pay 200 a week to rent your hair station, your nail station, things like that, okay? Booth renters usually buy all their own product. I don't know of any booth renters that the salon buys their stuff, maybe back bar stuff. But usually you buy all your own products when you booth rent, because basically you're just paying rent to own a spot and you're your own independent business, okay? Some booth renters can sell their own products from their station. So maybe you buy your own shampoo and conditioner and you sell from your station. Some booth renters can still make commission on selling products sold in the salon, okay? So you can still make commissions. It's probably still 10% on product, okay? Now, we'll go into it in just a minute if you actually stock your own product and sell your own stuff. Okay, then we have you work on commission. So you make commission for the services you provide. Now, industry standard is about 50%. Sometimes you can get people that maybe they only make, 30 to 40 when they're training, when they're just starting, maybe apprentice. And then some salons might pay you 55, 60 is pretty rare, okay? But usually the difference is with this 50% or 30 to 40%, they will pay for your products. So they'll pay for your supplies, okay? Now at this 55 to 60%, usually you're buying your own supplies. Okay, 60 is kind of rare, but sometimes I'll see a little bit of 55, okay? But the thing you have to remember is usually 10 to 15% of the cost of your services can go for supplies, okay? So say you did a $100 service, probably $10 of that to $15 of it was spent in the cost of the color, the cost of the shampoo, the cost of the foils. All of that together is the cost of your supplies. So out of that $100. A lot of it is your time they're paying for, because they're paying for time, they're paying for expertise, they're paying for your services, but some of it is cost of products. So you can see that sometimes getting 50%, but having a salon pay for your supplies, which could cost you 10 to 15%, really you're still making the 50%. But say you work at a salon and you make 55%, you're like, well, I want to work at that salon down the street because I'm going to get 55% commission down there, and that's more than 50%. But at that 55% salon down the street, you have to pay for your own products, and they're not providing anything. Well, now you got to take that 55% and say you just even deduct 10. Now you're really only making 45% because you got to deduct out that 10 to 15% in your product costs. And this is where a lot of salon employees, a lot of hairstylists, they just kind of miss the boat because they're not calculating all of their stuff. And sometimes it's not their fault. Sometimes they don't learn that in school. They learn how to do hair, they pass their boards, but they don't learn the business side of the business. They don't learn the financial money side. So it's really important to see where you go. I use an app, a QuickBooks app, where I can snap a receipt right after I purchase something, and then it saves it, and then it matches it up to my expenses later, instead of having to just save all those receipts. Because a lot of times, you go to the supply store and you make a big purchase, and you're like, oh, I keep track of those. Like, I know that once a month I go in and I spend $200 at the beauty supply store. That's my products, that's my supplies. But what about all the little tiny things? Like, oh my gosh, I ran and got a perm because I don't do that many perms. Or I ran out of 4N and I ran and got a 4N. And while I was there, they had a sale, so I picked up a shampoo, a conditioner, and a hairspray. Those are the little tiny things that sometimes those receipts just get lost, or maybe you paid cash. Cash is a huge one. A lot of times you're making tips all the time, so you're just using cash and you're just paying for things and you're not keeping track of them. So you really need to know how you're getting paid and what are your costs. If you're a booth renter, do you do your own books, or do you have to chip in for a receptionist? Do you split the cost? Do you have to chip in for back bar supplies? And so you really want to know where all of your money is going. A lot of times there is advertising. Okay, and now with social media, it's a lot less in that people can have like their Instagram accounts and people can follow them, and that's how they can get them. Like years ago, I used to do mailers. I sent out postcards, thank you cards, and so postage cost me a ton. Or I'd send them out birthday things, gift certificates, customer appreciation things, and that personal touch does go a long way. But that cost me money, okay? Even just printing up business cards, okay? Maybe you have a loyalty card, a punch card, things like that. Maybe you pay for an ad on Instagram, to get more followers. Maybe you advertise in like the local community pages. Maybe you sponsor a high school athlete or something to get your name out, your word out. Maybe you make a banner, you put it up. All of those things are advertising costs, and they're marketing costs to like increase your clientele and build your business. Does your salon make you chip in for an advertising budget? Do they do mailers, val packs, coupons, things like that go out in the mail and make you chip in? Is it included? So you have advertisement. A lot of times you have shipping on the products that are being sent to you. That shipping can be quite expensive if you're just ordering onesie twosie, things like that. Usually if you buy bulk, then it decreases it. Are you having to pay a receptionist? Are you splitting costs? Are you having to split costs of cleaning? Maybe you have to chip in for cleaning costs of your salon. Let's see, do you have to, buy your own products and then stock? okay? I worked in a salon where it was booth rent. They had products that the salon sold, and then you could still sell your own. So a lot of times I had several sets of shampoos and conditioners that I kept at my station and I sold. Well, that is money sitting on a shelf that you have to come up with ahead of time, and it has to sit there until you sell. So you have inventory costs that you have to put that money out before you get it. So there's a lot of different costs that go into things, and there's a lot of ways that people don't think. There's a lot of things that you can also write off, like, do you use your cell phone for all your appointments? You know, like, are you a mobile salon? Can you write off miles? Do you do home appointments? Do you, you know, things like that that are business costs that you might not think about? Do you have a home salon and you can write off a portion of your home, which can get a little tricky? So you want to talk to your tax person. But do you really know what you're making, and do you really know what you're spending? So I'd encourage you during this time off to kind of sit down and write down all your costs. And maybe you're like, I do this every year with my taxes. It's totally fine. No big deal. But like, how many things are you really missing? How many things are you really like paying out in cash? Bringing in food for maybe an event that you didn't realize you could write off, or you just paid so-and-so in the salon, here's some money, hey, go pick me up something because you're running the supply store. Are you keeping track of those things? Are you really doing that? Because you have to know your numbers to know how you can increase them, okay? You have to know what percentage in commission you're making so that you know how much products you need to sell to make a certain amount of money. So that is our, just kind of in a nutshell, like what you're spending, what you're making, and look for our next one on actually the breakdown in like products and how much you're earning in products, okay? Have a great day.